The film takes place in the year 2071, set in the city of Moscow, where the aftermath of an intergalactic war orchestrated by Cherno, an evil scientist who harbors ambitions of conquering the entire universe, has left the Earth devastated. Cherno, known as the most dangerous prisoner, employs his experiments as weapons, posing a continuous threat to humanity. 20 years after the war, humans, also known as Earthlings, still struggle to meet their basic needs. Anton, a young Earthling, waits in line to refill his water supply when a mysterious figure manipulates a metal pole to collapse behind him, sparking intrigue and danger. Anton narrowly dodges the falling pole, but its impact triggers chaos in the vicinity. The other humans in line cast disapproving glances his way, attributing his presence to a streak of bad luck, frustrated by the recurrent accidents seemingly linked to him. Meanwhile, aboard Cherno's colossal spaceship-turned-prison, the mysterious figure, revealed to be Cherno's daughter Valaya, relays the latest developments to her father. Cherno's disappointment grows as Valaya's repeated efforts to activate Anton's DNA yield no results. With Cherno's latest creation, the protogene, nearing depletion, the only remaining source is discovered to reside within Anton's genetic makeup, making it the sole means of his escape. Consequently, Cherno relentlessly urges Valaya to persist in her pursuit of Anton and ensure his demise once and for all, leaving Valaya burdened with the weight of her father's demands. While Cherno's prison lies deep underground on Earth, a colossal spaceship hovers directly above it within the city. Shaped like a dandelion, this vessel serves as the arena for a high-stakes flying sport known as Cosmoball. In this game, intergalactic teams of 4 compete to kick a destructive energy ball called the Wave Eater 5 times, opening their opponent's goal and scoring a point. Despite being outnumbered, the gifted humans Fan, Natasha, and Pele form the Earthlings team, skillfully breaching their opponent's defenses to score. The spectacle of Cosmoball is broadcasted across the skies of Earth on large holographic screens, serving as humanity's primary source of entertainment. However, Anton finds himself frustrated by the game's impact on humanity. He criticizes society for becoming too engrossed in entertainment while essential issues like unemployment and hunger remain unaddressed. In the stadium, the Earthlings and their opponents, the Cerusians, both manage to breach each other's goal zones. Stan, a prominent player from the Cerusians, scores a goal, giving them a 1-point lead over the Earthlings. Meanwhile, the Wave Eater, a creation of Cherno, is central to the game. As another Wave Eater is being transported to the field, Cherno seizes the opportunity to intercept it. Instead of delivering it to the players, he redirects the Wave Eater towards the machines. Several machines shatter into pieces, causing severe injuries to the guards in the process. Bello, the head of the Galactic Cosmoball League, pauses the game temporarily to address the unexpected technical issue and inform the players. Once the guards regain control of the Wave Eater, the game resumes promptly upon its return to the field. Despite ending in a tie, the Earthlings achieve a historic milestone by advancing to the finals for the first time ever, eliciting enthusiastic cheers from human spectators both inside and outside the stadium. Meanwhile, Cherno expresses anguish as he witnesses his creation crumbling into rubble. As night falls, Anton returns home to his ailing mother, only to discover that she has been concealing her worsening condition and pretending to be well. Anton hurriedly heads to the pharmacy, where he encounters a young woman named Anya. Together, they break into the pharmacy to procure food and medical supplies, triggering the alarm and drawing the attention of the police. As 2 officers, led by Captain Vasily, approach, Anton pretends to surrender alone, diverting their attention while Anya remains concealed. Exploiting the distraction he creates, Anton manages to slip away unnoticed. In his haste, Anton collides with an oncoming vehicle, prompting him to cry out in alarm. Vasily inspects the truck's front but finds only the spilled stolen medicine. Confounded, they depart, unaware that Valaya, disguised as the truck's driver, observes with satisfaction. Later, it is revealed that Anya is actually Valaya, who has been tailing Anton all along. Anton's fear activates the protogene and his teleportation ability for the first time, causing him to teleport uncontrollably a few miles away. Disguised as Anya, Valaya lures Anton to her basement and engages him in conversation about their mutual disdain for Cosmoball and their desire to aid their ailing parents. Unaware of Valaya's true identity, Anton remains captivated as she discreetly plucks a few strands of his hair to extract a portion of the protogene from his DNA. Valaya presents the hair strands to her father, but the protogene's response is minimal due to the insufficient quantity obtained. Meanwhile, Anton returns home to find Bello and the Earthlings team waiting for him. Bello confirms Anton's teleportation ability and expresses interest in recruiting him as the fourth member of the Earthlings team. Anton firmly declines, citing his dislike for Cosmoball and the need to care for his sick mother. Natasha intervenes, offering to find a cure for Anton's mother in exchange for his agreement. She persuades both Bello and Anton, and they finalize the agreement with a handshake. Anton is swiftly transported to the stadium ship, where he is amazed by the surroundings. During his examination, Bello collects a sample of Anton's genetic material to create his own Sputnik, a droid companion customized to assist him during the games. Each member of the Earthlings team possesses a Sputnik tailored to their specific body composition. Anton initially struggles with his teleportation abilities during training, but he quickly gains control. His remarkable progress surprises Bello and the Earthlings team, presenting a situation they've never encountered before. Bello decides that Anton will play in the first 2 games the following day before resuming his training. He leaves with Natasha to meet with the Galactic Council to discuss a potential cure for Anton's mother. Despite the Council's reluctance, Bello insists on honoring their agreement, recognizing Anton as a highly talented athlete. Meanwhile, Natasha spends time with Anton, expressing her fondness for him, much to his bewilderment. On another front, Valaya, disguised as her alter ego Anya, bonds with Anton over their shared disdain for Cosmoball and their mutual desire to find a cure for her father. Anya takes advantage of Anton's trust by slipping him a poisonous pod that could potentially destroy the stadium ship and put an end to Cosmoball for good. As Anton's Sputnik arrives with Natasha to pick him up, Anya gives him a kiss and discreetly places the pod in his hand, unnoticed by his Sputnik, which eyes her suspiciously. On their way back to the stadium ship, Anton grows curious about his Sputnik. Natasha explains that Sputniks alert their owners to potential threats and may activate battle mode depending on the level of danger. The next day, as another game of Cosmoball begins, the poisonous pod goes undetected during inspection. The Earthlings team links with their Sputniks to prepare for the game. Anton, holding the pod cautiously, accidentally gets it stuck beneath his glove. He communicates with his Sputnik and removes the glove, revealing the pod. Following Anya's orders, he squeezes the pod, releasing its toxic sap onto the stadium ship's floor. With a nonchalant demeanor, Anton walks away and enters the waiting area. As the athletes take their positions on the field, Anton finds himself amidst a roaring crowd, cheering him on. Meanwhile, back at his house, his mother, now healthier due to the medications, watches the game with Vasily. Instead of joining the game, Anton sits on the ground, ignoring the match, which prompts the audience to label him a quitter. Bello pauses the game and calls Anton over, aiming to reason with him. He reveals the inner workings of the stadium ship and explains the significance of Cosmoball beyond just a sport. Bello shares the grim realities of the war, Cherno's schemes, the Wave Eater, and the protogene, emphasizing how being an athlete gives Anton the power to instill hope in his fellow Earthlings during trying times. Realizing the gravity of his actions, Anton rushes back to retrieve the poisonous pod he dropped, only to find it has already leaked into a section of the ship stadium. Returning to the field, he desperately tries to warn everyone about the contamination, but his cries go unheard as the game continues. Fortunately, Bello notices Anton's distress and acts swiftly, freezing the infected area. Despite Bello's efforts, the poison spreads rapidly, triggering the stadium ship's emergency evacuation protocol to safeguard the audience. Natasha arrives to rescue the stranded spectators just as the Wave Eater hurtles toward her. Anton witnesses the chaos and rushes to Natasha's aid, just as the athletes manage to kick the Wave Eater 5 times, causing it to melt down. Struck by the Wave Eater, Anton loses consciousness momentarily but soon regains it. Determined to confront Anya, he heads to her basement, only to be stunned by her and confronted with her true identity as Valaya. Despite expressing her admiration for him, Valaya is disappointed by his failure to completely destroy the stadium ship. She extracts a moderate amount of protogene from his DNA before rendering him unconscious. Meanwhile, Anton's Sputnik, sensing the danger, searches for him and finds him unconscious. It connects with him and sacrifices itself to heal his injuries. As this unfolds, Cherno obtains the protogene from Valaya and initiates his escape plan. Using the protogene, he summons a massive puppy-like creature and links himself with it to gain control, transforming it into a spaceship. With the power of the protogene, he teleports away. When Anton finally wakes up, he finds Natasha and Bello by his side, ready to face the challenges ahead. Somewhere within the basement, Bello hears Cherno calling his name, acknowledging him as his creator and proposing an alliance. This revelation surprises Natasha, who confronts Bello for an explanation. However, Bello evades her questions, leaving her perplexed. Outside, amidst the gathering of various factions including the Cerusians and Amazonians, Cherno manages to escape and teleport away from Earth. The athletes remain vigilant, while Bello informs the Galactic Council of the situation and unveils the truth about Cosmo Ball. It's not merely a game, but a crucial defense mechanism against planetary destruction. Back at Anton's home, his mother informs him about the athletes' departure for the war against Cherno. Exhausted and disheartened, Anton lies down with his Sputnik, seeking solace. His mother consoles him, emphasizing the resilience of humanity in overcoming mistakes. Meanwhile, during a meeting with the Galactic Council, Natasha interrupts to confront Bello about Cherno's reference to him as his creator, still troubled by the revelation. She persistently demands answers, urging Bello to disclose the truth behind his connection to Cherno. Bello is left with no option but to confide in Natasha about his tumultuous past with Cherno. He reveals that Cherno, his greatest failure as a scientist, was created in his own image with the hope that he would be as helpful as the Sputniks. Bello admits his errors, believing that Cherno would assist him like the loyal Sputniks. However, his attempt to imbue Cherno with emotions ended in failure, leading to their falling out and Cherno's subsequent banishment, which ultimately triggered the intergalactic war 20 years ago. Meanwhile, beyond Earth, Cherno prepares to unleash his newly developed Wave Eaters from his ship. He reconnects with Valaya, instructing her to obstruct the athletes from leaving Earth for as long as possible. The monumental battle erupts as Cherno releases a barrage of Wave Eaters toward the planet's surface. Concurrently, Fan, Pele, and other allies from various factions position themselves outside the city, anticipating the onslaught. They valiantly engage the incoming Wave Eaters, passing them among each other to complete the required 5 strikes. Outside, the Galactic Fleet strategically lays a trap for Cherno and his ship under Bello's command. However, Cherno effortlessly dismantles the trap, obliterating the fleet single-handedly. Bello and Natasha watch in despair as their efforts go in vain. Undeterred, they pursue Cherno aboard the stadium ship. As the battle rages on, the athletes grow weary from their relentless efforts. Stan teeters on the brink of overheating, while Fan sustains injuries from a direct hit by a Wave Eater. Despite their physical strain, they press on, their rapid strikes causing buildings to crumble in parts of the city. In the midst of the chaos, Anton rises to his feet, alarmed by the escalating destruction. He communicates earnestly with his Sputnik, forging a deep connection. Anton christens his loyal companion Mowgli, sparking its awakening to its true potential. Anton rushes to aid Fan and Pele, guiding the injured Fan to safety with the assistance of their fellow Earthlings. Meanwhile, the residents of Moscow seek refuge from the falling debris, including Anton's mom and Vasily, who have grown closer after spending time together. In the sky, 2 Wave Eaters barrel toward Anton in succession. He successfully deflects the first one but fails to notice the second, which hurtles him toward the ground. Despite the impact, Anton emerges unscathed, albeit with tattered clothes. Sensing his distress, Mowgli swiftly intervenes, coming to his rescue. Reunited, Anton and Mowgli form a powerful bond, merging their abilities to prepare for combat. Now equipped for battle, Anton communicates with his fellow athletes and, with Mowgli in combat mode, launches into action once more, determined to confront the threat head-on. Anton impressively destroys each Wave Eater with just 1 strike, earning admiration from his fellow athletes. Meanwhile, Bello makes a bold decision to confront Cherno directly. He entrusts Natasha with full control of the ship stadium, instructing her to return to Earth and save the others if he doesn't return. Agreeing to Bello's plan, Natasha accompanies him as they teleport inside Cherno's ship. ready to face him once and for all. As the confrontation unfolds, Bello reveals his true form to Cherno, and they quickly engage in battle. Despite Cherno's sneak attacks, Natasha intervenes to defend Bello but is swiftly overpowered and stunned by Valaya. As the battle intensifies, Anton and Mowgli teleport to the moon and witness its deteriorating condition. Sensing danger nearby, they rush to the scene while keeping Natasha and Bello in their thoughts. Inside the ship, Bello provokes Cherno by attacking his protogenies with balls of ice. In response, Cherno creates a protective shield to defend his creation while Bello continues his relentless assault. As the ice spreads and freezes Cherno's body, Bello seizes the opportunity to launch another attack. He aims a ball of ice directly at Cherno, causing him to freeze completely. However, just as Bello's constant assaults threaten to freeze Cherno's protogenies, Valaya shapeshifts into Natasha's form and incapacitates Bello and Natasha before freeing Cherno from his icy prison. Cherno, now free, uses his elastic gear to overpower Bello, intending to end his life. However, Anton intervenes just in time, holding Valaya hostage to force Cherno to release Bello. Cherno then turns his attention to Anton, challenging him while asserting that Valaya was never a perfect creation. He fatally wounds Valaya and traps Anton by forcing him against the ship's lining, rendering him unable to teleport. Bello barely manages to keep Cherno distracted by dropping a bead of ice, hoping to neutralize the ship's power. Cherno turns his makeshift spear towards Bello, ending his life in an instant. Sensing the urgency, Anton seizes the opportunity to establish a connection with the ship using their shared cells. As he navigates the ship, Anton encounters the fearsome puppy-like creature, which begins to chase him relentlessly. Approaching the exit, Anton makes a bold decision to confront the creature head-on rather than continue fleeing. This sudden shift catches the creature off guard, causing it to pause momentarily in front of Anton. The wild creature is startled, halting its advance as it faces Anton. For a moment, a tense silence hangs between them as they lock eyes. Anton then voices a strong objection to the creature's aggressive actions, protesting vehemently against its threatening behavior. It roars at him in reply before it senses their connection. Persisting further, Anton calms the creature by lightly touching its head. Soon enough, Anton succeeds in establishing trust with the creature, enabling him to break free from the lining of the ship. Furthermore, as the creature grows fond of Anton, its connection with Cherno is ultimately severed. Despite Cherno's protests, the creature no longer obeys him. In a decisive act, the creature ejects Cherno from the ship, sending him to his demise on a massive ball of hot gas where he melts to death. Meanwhile, Natasha regains control of her body after being released from the trap. Anton teleports back to her, and together they return to Earth. Back on Earth, the citizens, tired of hiding, gather determined to survive and fight for humanity. Under Vasili's leadership, they prepare to confront the Wave Eaters, only to find them halted in their tracks after Cherno's defeat. With victory claimed, the residents of Moscow cheer loudly. In the aftermath, under Natasha's leadership, the city is revitalized. The energy from the remaining Wave Eaters is harnessed to improve life on Earth, bringing about a better future for its inhabitants. In her speech, Natasha emphasizes that it is time for Earthlings to truly live, not just survive. Her words are broadcasted worldwide, with people everywhere honoring Bello's sacrifice. The movie ends with the Team Earthlings coming together again after Natasha's speech, joined by Anton's mom, his new stepdad Vasily, Mowgli, and the creature, whom Anton now affectionately calls Kid. Thank you for watching and subscribe for more such videos.